What's going on YouTube? Today we're going to talk about the top 3 farming methods for the Deadlands. So the Deadlands is the newest ESO DLC slash update, and it brings with it a couple new ways to make money. And I'll be honest, I was actually skeptical at first on if this was even going to be viable, worth doing. But I tested out 3 different methods that I had seen in bans and discords, and I wanted to share them with you guys because I feel like they are great little tidbits of knowledge. And also just want to let you guys know, like, hey, you can look out for these specific items because with every obviously new DLC comes more items, more recipes, more furnishings, etc. So now you may be confused and think that I am in Blackreach's Oblivion portals, but I'm actually not. I'm actually in the Oblivion portals in the Deadlands. Very similar setup to those of you who did the Oblivion portals in Blackwood, but there is a slight difference in that basically the rewards are slightly different. So it's the same way to basically get to here, and that you need to find an Oblivion portal in the overworld. However, my method will always be just go down to social, go down to guilds, and then just look for somebody. Now this is called, I believe, the Atoll something. Yep, Atoll of Immolation. So basically you could just hit location at the top. You can see my beautiful self is there. Not actually beautiful, you should see me after work today. And then you come down here and you kill this bad boy. It does unfortunately take a little bit of time because he's going to shield up. Oh, he did not shield up right before he died. That's always nice. Whack this thing, whack that thing right here. And boom. You will be able to open this here chest. Ah, beautiful. And now I'm going to get the new shoulders. So, just a quick rundown of the pros and cons of this method. The pros are this has a higher drop rate for furnishing plans. It is repeatable, and it is pretty easy to AFK. You can see all of these beautiful people here are just standing around waiting for it to spawn back in again. People whip out their companions. For some reason I don't have mine out. And you can just chill here. So this is method numero uno. The cons are not the fastest respawn time. The chances aren't the highest in the world, unfortunately, to get it. But I wanted to show you method number 2. And we are actually going to log out for this method because I have done something specific with all of my characters that I'm going to show you. So before I load into those characters, or while I'm loading into those characters, it's important to remind everybody that furnishing plants have a higher drop rate from places that are not considered stolen. What does that mean? It means that if I open a backpack and I'm stealing from that backpack, it means that I have a lower chance to get a rare item such as a motif, crafting recipe, or anything along those lines. So to maximize your chance to get better loot, you want to make sure that you're opening non-stolen areas. That's why for those of you who were looting in Blackwood, you were probably stealing from the manor. So I am going to load in, and I have all of my characters here. I'm just going to go one character down to my werewolf, and I'm going to show you where I've taken all of my characters. Now the beautiful thing about the area that I'm going to show you to loot is that it does not require any sort of content to have been achieved. You can teleport here to any character, and you guys all own the Deadlands as it was a giveaway for the completion of the last event. So everyone should own this, and everyone can go here. There's no quest completion required to go into the building that I'm going to show you. There's nothing along those lines. It is just a nice, easy place you can get right on into, and you can loot. So we are actually, and then it reset my champion points for some reason. We are in the Deadlands, and we are right over here in this little building. And I've taken all my characters here, mainly because there are 2 backpacks. Now, that's not the only thing in here, too. If you go back around to this area over here, you also have crates, trunks, and you'll see we just got a Deadlands rung, wardrobe, and then another crate. And then I believe you can loot these barrels here too. The barrels are more so that you have a chance to get the provisioning stuff, because I always go for provisioning recipes. But you can see that even just doing this live on one account, we got one of the new Deadlands rugs. Woo! So this is a nice little way that you can get items. And if you noticed, I actually have all of my characters in this location except for the character that I play on daily. just because it's nice to just leave him at a bed. That actually probably sells for a little bit too. And we'll be able to do this. So the pros and cons of this method is unfortunately it requires you to have multiple characters, and it really strongly benefits you to have more characters, which not everyone has. I mean, granted, they can be level 3, and I do have level 3 characters here, but not everyone has 16 characters. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot of places to loot, but the rewards, like time per rewards, if you were to calc it out, would definitely be the highest doing this, because I could just keep rotating and rotating and rotating. And another important thing I want to remind you guys is to go to your champion points and make sure that you have the perk in the green tree that increases your chance to get furnishing plan recipes, because if you get 2 furnishing plan recipes, that will be god tier. Also, reminder too that if you get a blue or purple recipe, there is a cooldown on that character specifically, so you will not get another one again. Not that it matters a whole lot for this one, because I don't recommend that you go and loot the city. I've seen people create like miniature stealing routes around the Deadlands, but it just isn't worth it in my opinion. Unfortunately, I feel like it just gets your time before you get anything good is just so low. I just don't recommend it. Now we're going to go back on the main boy, and I'm going to show you the final method that I also suggest you do with all your characters, because again, the Deadlands and Fargrave are so small that even if you have no mount speed and you have no ability to run fast and you have no sets on your characters, you could still easily navigate the terrain, and there's so many people here that you could do all of this content easily. And also, just as a quick side note, because I saw a guild member selling this for 15K yesterday, and thought it was a great deal. That on Xbox right now, and I assume PS4 and PC, the new Deadlands treasure maps are selling well over 100K, and I've seen them selling as much as 200K. So please don't sell them for anything less than that. The motive itself it's how you get to do motives. The new sets are doing really well. We'll take a look at the sets here right at the very end. Well, obviously we'll kill this guy too again quickly, but just some quick pros and cons from that last one. Unfortunately, there's not as many loot tables to pull from, but again, you saw how fast we did it. You saw how fast we got a blue, and that blue could easily sell upwards for 50 to 200K. Depending on what blue you get. You get a purple, you can make upwards of $1 million, depending on which one you get. That's always how it is. And for 45 seconds of effort, it's really not too bad. Whereas here, again, it's a little more AFK based. He always just keeps spawning that shield on top of himself, and it's much more annoying when he does it, because you just want him to freaking die so you can go back to doing your other shit. But we'll get actually another little pool here, which will be really nice for the video. And hey, look at that. We got we got one piece of the set, and we got the other piece of another motive. So hey, they both have their merits, but you could see though that if I had stayed on this character, I would have been waiting that whole time period for him to respawn. So in that time period, you're not generating anything, you're not rolling for anything. So some of you may be put off by that downtime, and so I just wanted to make you aware that that is my, I guess, the number one negative con for that method is there is just a touch of downtime, unfortunately. And now for the final method to show you guys, and that is simply the daily quest, and it's the same as they always have been. You go over and you do 2 daily quests. One will take you to a delve, one will take you to a world boss, and you just kill the world boss, loot the delve, and that's it. And you get 2 trolls. So I'm going to go do that real quick, and then I will come back as soon as I turn that quest in so we can take a look at the rewards. And again, for this method, super easy. You could do this on pretty much every account, especially the delve, and also especially because the world bosses are so easy to kill. Not necessarily because they're easy on their own, but because there's about 50,000 people standing around them trying to kill them. So I'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about the pros and the cons after we loot the boxes, but I will see you guys right when I finish them. And we are back in Fargrave, ready to turn in those 2 quests that we just did. It took me about 5-6-ish minutes to do both of those quests. The world boss was thankfully already up, and people blasted it in about 45 seconds, so that part was very quick. It was more the delve part that took a little bit longer. So again, the pros of this method are it's very fast. You do get 774 free gold right off the bat. And we're going to open these, and we're going to see if they're good or garbage. Okay, so this is a decent... Oh, man, my inventory's full. And... Okay, so we'll get, some decent items here. It's hard to know exactly the specific value for these items, which is actually why I hesitated to make this video at first. However, I listed up all the pieces that I had been getting for between 5 to 50k for all the new sets, just because I figured that people will want them, and I have definitely found that to be true, that people will buy pieces just for the sticker book, and they'll buy them just to have them. I do think that one of these sets particularly will sell higher than the others, and let me see if I can find that for you. So I do think that this set will be used by ball groups quite a lot in PvP, and I think that it will definitely be a set that people at least test out for PvP, because I think it is kind of insane, especially if you're in kind of open world PvP with many people around you, debuffing pretty much all of them within a range of you is pretty OP. This one I think is mediocre, and then this one is not terrible, but I certainly don't see it breaking into the main meta. But I could also be wrong. You never know. I think that regardless, though, you can sell the sets because they're new. People want to fill the sticker book, and there's a market for it. And that's why I'm making this video for you. Those were the top 3 methods to make gold using the new Deadlands DLC, which you all have. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions for content in the future, drop it in the comments below. But if not, I'll see you in the next one. Alright, bye guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.